Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
Well, he's got out of bed nice and early as he normally does, is our Ralph McCalister, waiting for my phone call normally, but he's delivered people to the Northerner and he's come in to see us. Good morning, Ralph, and Happy New Year, Merry Christmas and all that sort of stuff.
Well, I'm really disappointed in you, Nigel.
Why, what have I done?
Well, it's what you haven't done.
Oh, I see.
I was expecting a red carpet.
I see.
Very seldom come to the studio, as you and I both realise.
Yes.
And I thought, this is it. This is going to be, the whole staff will be lined out, all two of you with your, what do you call it, guard of honour.
Guard of honour, yes.
And it didn't happen. Nevertheless, it's lovely to be here. And thank you for your good wishes, and the same to you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, looking forward to the break. You don't indulge in Christmas too much, do you?
No, my brother does all that, and I just go
Young
along
Lockie.
and pick, yes. And I get all the trimmings without having to do all the work, you know. But no, we do have a big Christmas in Waikanae.
Oh, good.
And we do it every year, but this year is going to be different because I have a young friend from Japan coming to stay with me, and he arrives on Christmas Eve.
Yes.
And he will experience his first Christmas in New Zealand.
Wow.
And of course it's 2 degrees in Hiroshima there where he lives. And so I'm looking forward to it enormously because I don't know many Japanese people. In fact, I don't know any Japanese people well. And I met him up in Waiheke last year, and he's a stunning young man. And so he just said, I'd like to spend time in Kapiti. So he's flying in, courtesy of Air New Zealand. At, did you say 3:05 on Christmas Eve?
Yes, I don't know about Christmas Eve, what time the flights are coming in.
No, but I'm really annoyed about the trains because that would have been a highlight going into Wellington on a train, you know, but we'll martyr ourselves and we'll use the car.
Yeah. Absolutely, yes, yeah, fair enough. Well, it's exciting. Yes, I was running in Japan in December many years ago in a relay. Gosh, it gets cold there, doesn't it?
Oh, yes.
We were out at Chiba, and it was just about 8 degrees. Well, I hate running in cold weather for a start off. It killed me, but however, we did this stupid thing. This place we were at had a swimming pool 150 metres long, huge, big kidney-shaped swimming pool. Yeah. Well, the challenge was after the event, as I was manager of the team, that we'd dive into the swimming pool at this ridiculous hour. Well, the Japanese thought we were absolutely nuts, and rightly so.
At 8 degrees?
At 8 degrees outside. I think the water might have been about 3.
And you survived.
We survived. That's part of the fun of life, isn't it? Now, you've given us some great books to read this year, Ralph, and you're going to rate a few of them today?
Well, I thought I'd just, you know, you don't want too much of a good thing. And I mean, it has been a very good year, I think, for very, very different reasons. There's been controversy over the Booker Prize winner, you know, the Burden, you know, the Lincoln one, Lincoln on the Bird, I think it's called, which I couldn't even finish and got very tetchy about on your station, I think, at one stage. But there have been other things. And I'm halfway through Patrick Carey at the moment, his latest one. And that's all about motor cars, and I'm not remotely interested in motor cars, but then I wasn't terribly interested in Ned Kelly when he got the Booker for that, you know. So he's a wonderful writer, Australian writer. So I'll talk about that next year with you, because I can't review it this year because I'm only halfway through it. But the books for me, I think I mentioned both of them earlier this year, but the young adult book of the year is called The Book of Dust, and it's, to me, an absolutely wonderful story. It's a trilogy, and a little background, if I've got time, with Phillip Pullman as the author, P-U-L-L, as in the train carriage. And 22 years ago, Nigel, he wrote a trilogy called His Dark Materials, and 22 years later, it was hugely successful, bigger than J.K. Rowling, except in sales. And he's a wonderful writer. It's all done in a sort of gothic style with characters who've got daemons on their shoulders. It's sort of fantasy, but it's a cross between Game of Thrones without the violence, and except that Pullman says, well, young people can take violence just as easily as older people. It's suitable for adults and young adults, and it's the first part of a trilogy revisiting His Dark Materials of 22 years ago. And so you've got this wonderful start where Lyra, the heroine of the books 22 years ago, is a baby. So you've gone back to how she developed from an infant. And, of course, they're all trying to threaten her and kill her and kidnap her, and this young boy and this young girl rescue her and take her off on La Belle Sauvage, which is the name of the canoe, the Beautiful Savage. And there's a huge flood outside Oxford, and it's a wonderful story. And the minute I give it, I haven't got it back yet, but the minute I give my copy to other people, they devour it. It's 550 pages long,
yes.
And you can't put it down. It's called The Book of Dust, and he's already finished the second one in the trilogy, which we don't know the title of yet.
Right.
Phillip Pullman.
Phillip Pullman. Well, there we are. That's a good Christmas present for somebody who's an avid reader.
Yep.
All right.
But the other one, which to me has been the outstanding book of the year, is the one called The Sparsholt Affair, and that's by Alan Hollinghurst, who's one of the most prestigious of English writers. He's been around for a few years now. He got the Booker with A Line of Beauty some years ago, and he's been nominated before. But this one here, which I've got with me this morning, it's definitely Booker Prize material next year. It came out too late for this year's, but it's about students. If you've read Brideshead Revisited or any of these Evelyn Waugh stories of the 30s and 40s and 50s, it starts up on the rooftops of Oxford at one of the universities, because the boys are watching for firebombs from the Germans. It's 1940, and that's where the first love affair, because they're on the rooftops and they can see into the windows of their colleagues,
yes.
And something's going on, and one of them, now I won't divulge it in case I shock some of your readers, but it turns out that that's the basis of the title, The Sparsholt Affair. It's not a big affair in terms of, sexual orgies and so on,
right.
But it follows these young men and women through in 3 different stages, right through to the present day. And it's a gay novel, so there is, but it's. Hollinghurst has written about gay topics all his life. There's a wonderful meeting with Margaret Thatcher in one of his books where he dances with her, yes. And it's hilariously funny. But he's a stunningly brilliant writer, and to be nominated for the Booker and get the Booker and now be ready for another one. He's in his mid-50s now, I think, and I just pick up anything he writes and read, but it's pretty big. It's another 500-page one.
Oh, there we are.
But totally unputdownable. I know I hate that word, but it sums up very quickly what I think. And I would make that, with Book of Dust, these two would be my books of the year. One for younger set, and of course one's always trying to persuade the young to read, of course. And this one, The Sparsholt Affair, which it's a chronicle of historical dimensions seen through the eyes of wonderfully funny people who grow old not very gracefully, and we meet them finally near the end in 1980s and 2000. Right. So these are my raves for you, and you will be very pleased to know you won't hear my voice again for some time, right?
I don't know about that, Ralph. We like hearing that voice and your reviews of these books and shows too, by the way. Sure. Thanks very much indeed. But yes, there we are, folks. That's the young adult book of the year, The Book of Dust by Phillip Pullman, and The Sparsholt Affair. Ralph's brought that in, just showing the cover of it, by Alan Hollinghurst. So a couple of good books, and Ralph's enjoyed them. 500. He most probably reads that just before he goes to bed after tea or something like that.
Not quite as quickly as that, but as I leave, I'll just make sure your receptionist has put the red carpet out as I go. And have Ralph, a good Christmas.
You have a very good Christmas. Thanks for all your input into our programs, and we'll get hold of you in February.
You will indeed.
Yeah. Just by the way, I see Waiheke's running out of water, so don't go to Waiheke.
I'm going in March.
Are you? They might have some water then.
Well, they better.
Yeah. With the holiday makers, it's a bit of a worry, isn't it? Because you go to Waiheke a lot.
Oh, yes. No. I'm going there for at least a month. So.
Are you?
Yep.
Good. Right. Thanks very much, Ralph. Ralph McCalister.
106.3 Beach FM.